What's up, my friends? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are myth busting, and I am busting through one of the most common myths or assumptions that I see around intuitive eating and what happens after you decide to leave diet culture and embrace a more food freedom related lifestyle. And this one is a big one. And this one is one that y'all are gonna relate to. And the myth is this: if I give up dieting, tracking, diet culture, and decide to embrace a more intuitive eating lifestyle, I will simply lose control around all of the foods and gain 25, 35, 50 pounds and not be able to control myself. That is the myth that we are busting today, because it is, in fact, a myth. Before we dive in any further, I would love to introduce myself. If you are new here, hello, my name is Brianna. I am the diva behind Diva and the Divine, and I am a wellness coach who, after 15 plus years of being knee deep in diet culture and yo-yo dieting, finally got off the dieting roller coaster and got on with her life, and I'm now coaching other women to do the same. And this is a big part of it. Today's topic is a big part of it. The belief that you will lose control over your favorite foods, trigger foods, no-no foods, bad foods, whatever the case may be. My friend, that is simply not true. And let me tell you why. And it comes down to one very simple thing, and that is restriction mindset. Restriction mindset is literally the entirety of the thing that wreaks all of the havoc on all of your seemingly lack of ability to control yourself. And I put that in quotes because, as you've heard me say time and time again on my channel, you are, in fact, 100% in control of your actions. And that means that the food is not walking off the plate or out of the bag or out of the fridge and hopping into your mouth without your participating in it, right? Instead, what you need to admit first is that you're not in control. You feel like you're not in control, and or you are choosing not to take control of your actions in those overeating, losing control type situations. Sorry, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you are in fact in control. But just because you are in control doesn't necessarily mean you always feel in control. So it stands to reason that this would be a very big and valid concern for anybody trying to leave tracking and dieting and all of the diet culture-y crap that comes along with it behind and embrace a lifestyle of food freedom instead. I can understand why this would be a concern. However, I am here today to tell you with 100% certainty that you will get there and you will be at a place where there is not a need for concern in this area. I have found personally that in my 8 months of embracing the intuitive eating lifestyle, I am more in control around food, any food, than I have ever been in my entire adult life, and arguably probably in my entire life period. I currently have 3 different kinds of cookies, an entire container of my favorite homemade buttercream frosting, 2 containers of ice cream, Rice Krispie treats, and several other treats that I would have previously deemed things that I could not control myself around under in my house as we speak. And you know what I'm sitting here thinking about as my tummy is starting to rumble and I'm getting hungry, but I'm like, wait, we gotta film one more video first. I'm freaking excited about a sandwich. A homemade sandwich with good hearty bread and some avocado and some pickle, and it's gonna be freaking amazing. I'm thinking about the sandwich. Literally, not the 2 things, the chocolate covered peep and the Rice Krispie treat that are sitting next to me on the floor. Couldn't care less. I was not always this way, my friends, because this is a process. And the reason that achieving this sort of control around food or feelings of control around food is a process is because you have to train your mind to let go of one thing. The root cause of all of your feelings of lack of control, of all of your desires to overindulge and eat too much of the junk food and not be able to keep X, Y, and Z foods in the house is restriction mindset. That's it, plain and simple. That is the reason why we feel like we lack control, because the foods we lack control around are not the foods that on our diet we're allowed to have, right? It's not the chicken, it's not the black beans, it's not even the fruits or the vegetables. We don't lack control around those foods. We have no problem stopping, except for maybe the occasional really delicious watermelon, but I digress. My point is, if we have permission to eat the food, full, wholehearted, unconditional permission, it's not going to be a food that we feel lack of control around. But the second you start to demonize a food, to restrict a food, to say that it is a bad food, or I'm indulging and ooh, I'm being so off track, that is the food that is going to cause you problems. And for many people fully immersed in diet culture, there's a lot of foods on that list, right? Picture this, you've been so good all week. Perfectly on track, eating your fruits, your vegetables, your lean proteins, nay, a snack in sight on your tracker, nay, an indulgent dessert, and then Saturday rolls around and it's time for margaritas with the girlfriends, and you're going to brunch, and you have, or whatever, I don't brunch or margarita very often, so I don't know the correct terminology, but the point stands. And then you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna indulge in one naughty little thing. And then your margarita or your mimosa and your naughty little indulgence of pancakes instead of the egg white omelet filled with vegetables. And then someone orders a dessert because why not? It's 12:30, let's have dessert as well. All of a sudden you spiral out of control. You eat everything in sight with no regard to your hunger and your fullness. You feel like you've become completely uninhibited. And yeah, you had a margarita or two, so that didn't help. But it's because you're eating, you're exposed to all of the foods that all during the week you didn't allow yourself to have. You told yourself were bad. You told yourself were naughty. And so you lose control. And then you feel terrible because you've overindulged and eaten past fullness, so now you're uncomfortable, you're bloated, and you feel like you failed yourself because you ate foods that were on the no-no list. Does that sound familiar at all? So then you buckle up and you go, okay, I'm getting back on track, and Monday rolls around and the big strict rigidity happens again, and on the restrict and binge cycle goes. Does that sound like you? That sound like something you've experienced in the past? I know I've experienced it. And here's the thing. In the world of food freedom, in the world that I live in now, that cycle doesn't exist anymore. I'm allowed to have whatever I want, whenever I want it. If I want to go downstairs and have buttercream frosting for lunch, I can have buttercream frosting for lunch. There's no problem. I have zero qualms about having nothing but a few spoonfuls of buttercream frosting for lunch. But I don't want it. I don't want buttercream frosting for lunch. I'm really looking forward to my super hearty, delicious cheese, meat, pickles, vegetables on the side, hearty bread that contains fiber and protein sandwich. I cannot wait to go downstairs and have this sandwich because I'm hungry and I'm craving nourishing foods. And then maybe possibly, if I'm feeling like it, I might dip my spoon into the bowl of buttercream frosting for a little something sweet afterwards. Not too much though. Not because I can't, because I don't want it. Because I feel completely in control around this food. For the record, my husband is not home today. How the heck is that relevant, Brianna? If you guys have been on my channel for any length of time, you know that I'm an obliger. I do better, I show up better for all of my goals myself when I know or I think somebody else is watching. Quite frankly, my husband's not watching. He's too busy working in his office to give two poops about what I'm doing during the day. But in my brain, if there is the possibility that that man comes out of the office and sees me, you know, elbow deep in buttercream frosting, previous Brianna would behave around the buttercream frosting. Not because I wanted to, but because I had supervision. Since embracing intuitive eating about 8 months ago, I have not had to experience him being gone very, very often. So today, with all of those treats that I mentioned earlier in the video in the house, including literally a tub of buttercream frosting, old Brianna, dieting Brianna, would take this as a day to be completely uninhibited because I'm not being supervised. Again, to be clear, I'm never actually being supervised. It's something in the wiring of my brain that makes me think I am and therefore perform better. It's a me problem. I'm not being controlled. Don't worry. So the fact that I'm sitting here and I'm not spooning out a whole bunch of buttercream frosting, I feel no desire, no compulsion. I feel totally in control of myself. Just goes to show. It just validates the fact that once I let it all go, once I let diet culture go, once I let go the expectation or labeling the buttercream frosting habit as a bad habit, all of a sudden it doesn't matter anymore because I'm completely in control of it. Because I feel in control of it. Because right now, I don't even want the buttercream frosting no matter how much I keep saying buttercream frosting. I want my freaking sandwich, my nutritious food, because I'm hungry and I want to nourish my body well, and that's what I'm craving. Why am I telling you this? Because, my friends, there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is light on the other side of that big dark mountain of diet culture. When you say that you regularly feel out of control around certain foods, I can't have peanut butter in the house. I can't order a pizza because I'll eat the whole thing. This message is for you. The myth that you will completely lose control is just that, a myth. Now, let me be very clear. There is the possibility that you have kind of a rebound reaction when you first start to embrace intuitive eating. And that rebound reaction tends to be the floodgates of years of diet culture and restricting your favorite foods opening because all of a sudden you're allowed to have them wholeheartedly. So yeah, you might overindulge a little bit. That's actually a very normal part of the process, depending on where you're at with making peace with your food. Coincidentally, I have a course launching very, very soon about this very topic because I want to share with you the exact 5 steps that I have taken to avoid that complete floodgate opening, food freedom, restriction, binge moment. I never had that because of these 5 steps that I did. So if you're interested in getting more information about this course, sign up for the course VIP list. It is completely commitment free. It just gets you all of the information that you're going to need when the course launches at the end of this month. And trust me, there's going to be some really great bonuses for those of you that sign up first thing, so you don't want to miss that. But my point is, I'm now coaching people on how to avoid that mishap, avoid that fall, and be able to feel in control from the beginning. Because the fact that you're not in control is a myth. You absolutely end up more in control than you ever have before. I promise you that. And that feeling of complete control can only come when you have embraced food freedom, made peace with food, and allowed yourself to experience the joy of unconditional permission to eat what you want, to nourish your body and to nourish your soul. It's magical over here, my friends, and I hope you'll join me. And I hope that this video busted that myth for you. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if there are any other myths or assumptions about intuitive eating or food freedom that you would like me to bust, leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, and I will see you again soon.